Well, it's fun to have the playoffs back this past weekend. Now, we didn't get a bunch of great football games, unfortunately. We've seen that a little bit as they've changed the format. They're adding an extra team, which is always exciting, but it hasn't made for necessarily the best playoff games early in the playoff season in that first weekend. But, you know, it's all about putting it together at the right time and playing your best football on the biggest stage. And we saw a number of teams played really well and a number of teams that didn't show up in that moment. One of those teams was the Dallas Cowboys. Everybody expected big things from them. Had a great start to the season, kind of up and down as they moved towards the end of the season. And it's something that we continue to see to this day. Play your best football at the right time like the 49ers were. Best chance to be able to make a run in the playoffs. But to me, the Cowboys, it was all about airs. It was all about details. It was all about play design. It was all about the quarterback understanding where to go with the football because he was playing against a really good defense, a really good defensive front. So you got to know where to go with the football quickly so you can get the ball out of your hands and have successful plays. But a whole bunch of issues with the Cowboys. I put together a whole bunch of plays, and it was so long that I had to cut it down. And again, not that they didn't make any good plays, because I'm not showing the good plays on this tape. To me, a lot of times when I'm doing study ball, it's about teaching. It's about learning. It's about hoping that maybe even a few people from the Cowboys, maybe Dak Prescott takes a look at this tape and says, oh man, yeah, maybe I should do that next time. Or wow, I never really thought about that. Or I wasn't coached that way. That to me is my hope. And if it's not the Dallas Cowboys, it's somebody else out there that is doing something similar, or a quarterback to build his understanding of how to play the position. So it's going to be a long tape anyway, so let's go ahead and dive into it. All right, we can start here with what we call a four-strong concept. You'll see a number of teams, Cowboys do it, Chiefs probably do it more than anybody, but what they're going to do is they're going to motion and they're going to bring four receivers to that side. When you bring four receivers to that side, what you're looking for is you're looking to see if the defense pushes their numbers to that side and oftentimes leaves the one-on-one to the backside. It's really why you do the four strong. You're hoping to get the one-on-one matchup on the backside, and if not, that means that they've left somebody over here to help, and now you should have an advantage with your four strong to that side. So let's take a look. Okay, there we go. We got the motion. All right, and you see we've got boom, boom. He's going to drop back, and this guy underneath. So biggest thing is going to be this guy back here if you've got a particular play that's going to attack back there. Or just say, hey, they're pushing everything. So you see right here, they've got everybody on that side of the hash, and you've got one-on-one back here. So this play should tell Dak Prescott that's where your throw is. Now, you've got to design a play and a concept that you say, I'm going to trust that throw if they push it to the strong side. Okay, so this is Schultz right here against a corner. I think it's Mosley right there. And so you've got to prepare for that and say, well, what if we get our tight end on a cornerback? Do we still feel confident in it? If not, then you can't run this play, because this is where the ball should be thrown here. Because look at this. Everybody is pushing over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys. 6 defenders against these 4 as they're trying to run in here and do this. You don't have the numbers. The numbers favor the 49ers. This is where you have to go down here to Schultz in your one-on-one when you go 4 strong. He didn't feel confident in it, so now he's trying to force it to the front side, and this is what we get. We get an errant throw. We get a tough throw because there's too many bodies over there. We've got to go backside. It's little details like that. Design the play with Schultz back there. You got to say no matter who covers him, if I get a one-on-one, I got to feel confident in that. If not, throw the play out, because that's what a lot of teams will do. They'll push. Now you just happen to get not a safety or a linebacker. You got a corner on him. Still got to feel confident in that matchup, or make Schultz one of those 4 strong guys and put your best player back there in Amari Cooper or CeeDee Lamb, so you like that matchup no matter what they do back there and who covers him. All right, details. Okay, so I'm never a big fan of routes that send guys to different zones. Okay? And so what I mean by that is it doesn't matter if a team's playing man-to-man, but I always design plays to attack zone. Why? Because zone's the hardest thing. Is you've got to make sure that you attack a certain player in a zone coverage to make it successful. Against man, it's just about your guys winning, and so you got to have the right route concepts, of course, against man. But it's more about zone. So what am I talking about here? So here's what I'm saying is that in every zone that you play, you're going to have a guy in the hook area on the backside, you're going to have a guy play in the middle, and you're going to have a guy play in the hook area on the front side. Doesn't matter if it's cover 2 and these guys are rolling up, or if it's cover 4 and these guys are going back, or it's some version of a cover 3 where somebody else is rolling down. You're always going to have those 3 zones that should be covered when you're playing against a defense. So we want to make sure that if that's the case, we get a high-low on one of these guys. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to run an in that attacks in between the hashes, right where the Mike linebacker is. We're going to run a shallow that comes outside the hash over here, right where this outside linebacker is. And we're going to check a little swing or hook backside right where this linebacker is. So the point being is, okay, who are we attacking defensively as a quarterback? Who am I reading to say, if this guy covers the shallow, then I throw the one behind him? Well, we don't have anybody in this case because of what we're running here and how we're attacking this. We're allowing everybody to play their zone, and we're covering ourselves up. So basically it becomes a play where the quarterback has to beat the defense with a throw. Okay, so here, what happens is they end up going to cover 2 shell backside. So now this allows this guy to play the back. Okay, it allows this guy to come off and play the shallow. And even though Fred Warner actually screws up this defense, he should be sitting right there in the middle, and instead he's chasing Dalton Schultz to the backside where they've got a safety already. He shouldn't be chasing. He should be sitting right there. And even with all that, this backer, because he knows he's got help backside, pushes to the middle. So now Cedric Wilson, even with the void by Warner, Dak has to beat the backside player with the throw. It's not a simple high-low. Well, if this guy goes there, then I can throw it over the top. He's got to beat him with the throw. So now, see, he's trying to beat this linebacker with the throw, forces the throw to have to be out here. He's off on his timing because there's really no timing when you don't have a true high-low. And now he's trying to force it into Cedric Wilson on a play where you say, well, it looks like Cedric Wilson's open. You got a shot right there. But because of how we have to throw this, and I never get that high-low right there, I got to try to fit it in before the linebacker gets there. Leads to an errant throw. Because to me, conceptually, it's not what you want to do conceptually because you don't have a true high-low. Leads to an errant throw, even though he's trying to get to the right place. Just not a good concept against that defense, and that was even with a mess-up by Fred Warner based on that zone concept. All right, we're just going to run a screen right here. Okay, and again, just details for the Cowboys. So we're going to throw a screen, and we actually don't even complete the screen. But when we run a screen, at least the way I teach it is we're going to get 2 offensive linemen out here. Okay, we want them to get to whatever the point is where we want to complete the screen, and we want to set up right there. Once we set up, outside guy is to look to the first guy outside, inside guy is to look to the first guy inside. We want those guys to split because we're expecting there to be somebody coming off to the outside. If there's not, then you can both turn back to the inside. But here, if we complete this to Zeke right here, we're getting blown up by the corner on this screen. Why? We got 2 guys out here. Somebody go there, the other one go there, and we've got a chance if we complete this for a big play down the sideline. Mess up the details, both guys go to the same guy, we leave a guy free, don't even complete the pass on top of it, but even if we do, he's getting blown up for no gain, and bad things happen when you do that. Details. All about details. Play design details. Quarterback going to the right spot details, right? Offensive lineman blocking the right guys, understanding what they need to do to make a play successful details. All right, details. Okay? Quarters coverage. Seams, stops. Okay? So whether you call it quarters coverage, or you could say this is a high 3 coverage right here, where this guy's dropping down high, really doesn't matter based on the way that we're seeing this, is right here and now, because of the position. You're not going to get a seam past that guy. He's too high. If you feel like you can get a seam, even though this backside safety's off the backside hash, maybe that's a possible throw. But right now, get outside to your one-on-ones based off the initial alignment that they showed us, the quarters coverage right here. I'm not trying to win with the seams because they're running right into safeties that are in position. My one-on-one, these linebackers are taught to hold in here and match coverage. So now we basically have one-on-ones on the outside. Dak should be outside right now. Get outside right now. Boom, boom. There's your completions. Instead, he's peeking inside. And again, you see you got nothing inside. This guy's too deep, nothing. This guy's too wide, nothing. Should be outside. He gets to the check down here and gets blown up because his eyes should be right outside right now. Should be back, one quick hitch, ball out, throw it. Instead, get caught inside, and now we have another incompletion on a play that should have been an easy completion and something that everybody runs. Everybody has got to know what to do in those kind of situations. Quarterback got to know where to get the football out in those situations, and you got to get it out quickly, especially when you know, right? We know this is the strength of their team. I don't have time to hesitate. I got to make sure I get the perfect look, and I got to get my eyes to the right place and get the ball out quickly. All right, I just want to show you this concept. This is a concept Cowboys run all the time, okay? So they run a seam, a curl, and a swing by their back. And then on the backside, they run what we call a 72. A 7 is a corner, a 2 is a slant or an inside route, okay? This 72 should really be designed for man-to-man coverage. So just like I was telling you, we've got one guy coming into the hook zone, one guy going to the deep third area of the field. So they're going to different areas. So this is not a zone concept because you're always going to have a guy sitting in that area. You're always going to have a guy sitting in this area. So against zone, this should not be a play that we're reading against zone. So this is really their zone beater over here that they like to run. Okay, I want you to watch Fred Warner here because the Cowboys run this play all the time. And the reason I'm showing it is because good play, like the play, I like what they're trying to do on this particular play, but you've always got to have a changeup. Fred Warner is simply eyeing this back right here. When this back goes quick to the swing, he knows what play they're running. He's seen this before. He's going to push hard to this curl. Just want you to watch this. Watch Fred Warner. Look at him run outside. He just continues to run because he sees this and he goes, I know what the play concept is. I'm going right back there. Okay, so outside backer goes to cover the swing. I'm going to push hard through this and try to get to that curl, do the best I can to get to the curl. We've got a dead seam here that's running right into a safety. You've got nothing against zone because of what Fred Warner is doing right here. Great defense by Fred Warner. Great recognition by Fred Warner. But more importantly, this is about the Dallas Cowboys making sure that they have some sort of changeup. Okay, so when they do this, we've got to do something where we get back to the inside here and change this up. We got to free release this guy. Maybe you bring him back inside because we're getting that hard push, but you got to change this up. You can't just keep running the same concept. So what happens is, because Fred Warner pushes over here, Dak gets caught, and I don't know if he even gets caught. I see him do this all the time, even against zone coverage. He's throwing back here into zone coverage. Now, he gets away with it because this guy carries it just enough to allow this to happen. But this guy starts to come off. You get caught in a bind, and there's nowhere to throw it. Fred Warner doing a great job of pushing through with play recognition. They pick up a nice game. But we're going to do this once again. Here we go. Same play. Fred Warner sees it. Look at him go. He is pushing through here right now. What's it do? It forces Dak to once again go back to this backside. Now you see it, right? This guy recognizes it. He's starting to come off. And this guy should be able to fall back here. He's chasing a little bit, so he's getting them to screw it up. But if they don't screw it up, we're in trouble. He's got to throw it low because they're coming off. Otherwise, he gets blown up. But we're playing with fire over here trying to run this concept against zone because we're running right into the zones. Good job by Fred Warner. Again, look how far he pushes, and there's really no throw back to the front side either. Here's what I talk about with details. Details, okay? What I know on a curl flat is I know I'm going to win off of this guy if I throw it to that side. So he can either cover the curl or he can cover the flat or the swing. He can only cover one. The guy I'm worried about is this guy. I always talk about this in my QBConfidential playbook is who's the biggest problem on every play? It's the Mike linebacker. And we've seen him push through, and that's my biggest worry. So what I always like to do on this play if I'm running a seam right here is I like to seam inside. Seam inside with this defender and then push vertical. Because once you seam inside, this guy's responsibility is to go out and cover curl, flat. But this guy now, you become his responsibility. So if you seam at him, all we do is freeze him just enough that he can't push through and get to the curl. Instead, we're going to go around and outside, which doesn't influence this guy at all, takes them right into the position that they want to go, and allows them to be able to cover both of these concepts equally as well when we shouldn't. Right here, right? He goes inside to Fred Warner. What's Fred Warner got to do? He's got to hesitate and hold, and now that hesitation is all we need to be able to beat him on the curl. He pushes right through it. We're stuck backside. Here we go again. Third time. Same thing. Fred Warner sees the quick movement there. I'm going to push there. We're going to run this backside. Dak's looking back there. What happens? He jumps it. He falls. Exactly what they're supposed to do in zone coverage. They finally do it here. Now Dak has to get all the way backside, and he makes an unbelievable throw to the outside number of CeeDee Lamb. But look where Fred Warner, Fred Warner is in perfect, it's just a perfect throw and catch to make this a completion. Otherwise, they are dead in the water on this concept because of details. Details by the number 2 running his influence right here. Details because we don't have anything else that we do when that guy pushes hard that way. So Fred Warner knows I'm going to push to that curl because they haven't ever done anything or they rarely do anything different in that concept. And we're lucky because our 2 playmakers make a great play there and we get a completion. But Fred Warner is right there because he understands the concept. All right. Got to have a hot plan. Got to have a hot plan. 1, 2, 3, 4 defensive linemen. Okay, we've got 6 guys blocking. Offensive line will take those 4. Then they take the next most dangerous guy. So they will slide and get Fred Warner right here. And the back is responsible for this guy right here. So we've got these 6 guys picked up. Dak, this is your guy. You got to know your hots. You got to know where he's at. You got to have options on the outside. This particular play, they did a great job. Okay, so what we would do in this particular case is I want this guy to peek as he's going vertical. Just peek. So I see this guy come, boom, I can hit him right there, and he's running down the middle of the field if I beat this backside backer who's popping out. That's one hot. Then they're going to run a hook right here. There's another hot. Either one of these guys can be options for us. Dak's eyes are down and over here. So by doing that, he's late to see the hot, right? Oh, shoot, now he's coming hot. There's your throw, Dak. There it is. It's right in front of you. You see this guy coming. That is an easy completion to your best player. He's got space. We've got a completion there, and we've got yards. Instead, he catches it late. He's not aware of his hot. Boom. Now he's in panic mode. Flips it to Zeke. We're lucky that we didn't get a 15-yard sack. We actually get back to the line of scrimmage. But positive play is sitting there for us. But we got to know. We got to be on top of our pressure situations. Okay? All right, here we go. We got 5 out right here. Okay, we're going to run this concept. We're going to wrap this guy back in behind him, and everybody else is basically running go routes. Okay, so this particular play, everybody's running go routes. Okay, 49ers are playing quarters. Okay, so in quarters coverage, I got this safety wide, which is nice. We run a go back here. This guy's going to take him. We run a go back here. This guy's going to take him. So my read should be right here on Fred Warner right now. Now, again, I say that right now. First thing I should do, I got to peek this safety back here. Okay? I got to peek this safety back here. If he does what I expect him to do and he turns to cover CeeDee Lamb, then my eyes go right to Fred Warner. So Fred Warner can either cover the guy deep down the middle and I throw the in, or he can settle and cover the in and I throw the seam down the middle. So I want you to watch this. Come out, eyes on this backside safety. I know it. This guy's wide right now. I know I've got one guy in the middle. These guys are playing outside, so they should have no bearing on what happens down here. This safety wants to come across and help to the middle. That's when I've got my seam to the backside. Backside safety. There he is. Turns his shoulders. He's right here on CeeDee Lamb. Fred Warner. Okay, he settles his feet. Here's the throw right here Dak should be making right now. He's holding it. He's got to let it go. This guy turns his shoulders. That ball should be gone right there, right now. Instead, doesn't have it, holding it, hitching it. And I don't know what he's hitching for because he's got nothing but a bunch of go routes and then one in. So there is no read to be had here other than throw it to one of your outside guys, or you're going to have to read this high-low on the inside because we got nothing underneath because all 5 guys are out. So it's got to be the high-low on the seam to the in right here. Missed an opportunity, another sack, got to let it go right there, let it go. See the body language of Fred Warner pushing over. Wrap this thing around because you know you've taken care of the backside safety. There's the throw to be had. Don't let it go. Another sack for the Cowboys. All right, here's another one. So we're going to run hook, stop, okay? What we call an influence or a diagonal route here with an in and then a hook route right here. All right, so we know in 3x1, these 2 guys are going to push to that side, okay? If we have hook, 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 I'm going to stay front side in this particular look. And I am going to read outside in. So I'm going to read this guy. I'll be ready to throw the outside one. He pushes. I'll take it to the second hook. This guy pushes through. Then I go to the third hook. So I always want to read outside in because this timing all the way out to the outside hash is the hardest. If I wait on that, it gives this corner a lot of time to be able to break there. So that's how I want to read it. But this particular case, we only have hook, hook, and a diagonal. So how does that change things? I know that this guy still has to push strong because there's 3 receivers over there. So how it changes things is now, once again, I'm going to read this backside safety. This backside safety right here. Because what I know on this coverage, quarters coverage again, I know on this coverage that I am going to get a high-low on that linebacker right there. I've got a hook and an in. This guy will only be able to cover one of them. If this safety wants to get involved and he wants to jump the in, then I've got the diagonal over the top. If this guy gets depth right off the bat like I expect and he covers the diagonal, then I've got my high-low to this side. So Dak, if he sees that, there it is right there. Safety turns his hips this way to take the diagonal. Here becomes my in, check down off of that guy, and you see it. There's a throw right there to Schultz. Actually, either one of them would have won right here, and we're good to go. Instead, he's going to read out the front side, which, again, isn't necessarily horrible, but because Fred Warner is pushing through, it makes it really hard. But I should be outside right now, and you notice, ball's still in hand while CeeDee Lamb is turning around, and we're going to try to make this throw late. What happens? Look at the corner. Corner's jumping all over this. This ball has to be out because we've got to read one hitch. Ball's got to be gone to the outside unless you feel like that guy's taking it away. Then you got to be ready to rip it to the inside. We're late getting this out on top of it with a couple hitches. No chance to complete that. Mosley does a good job. But more importantly, I'm looking at this right here to throw that backside combination because we've got the diagonal. Also want you to notice this. Watch Fred Warner here. Okay, on this play, we're going to go inside of him on the diagonal. Watch what it does to Fred Warner here. Right there. See how it flattens his shoulders? Remember the play I was just talking about? Curl with the swing. Number 3 seams inside and goes inside Fred Warner. It stops him on the hash and gives us a throwing lane to the curl. So that's just visual evidence of what it would look like if number 3 did something different on that other concept. All right, so this is what we call a drive concept. Very popular in the West Coast world. We're going to run a shallow, we're going to run an in, and we're going to run a check down to this side. Okay, and some different things. A lot of times we run a go on top of that. Going to run different things, post whatever to the front side. But once again, why don't I like this play? We're taking this guy to the hook zone. Got him. Taking this guy to the middle. Got him. Taking this guy to the hook zone front side. Got him. Now, we run this play as a way to go, oh, we're going to get the defense to screw it up. Or if they don't screw it up, this guy over here, I'm going to run a shallow and I'm going to try to beat him by reading this thing. And I get it. I understand. My guy is going to be smarter than your guy and we're going to get a 5-yard gain no matter what. But here's what happens, right? Dak's stuck looking over here. See, he's starting to sit it down here. But we've got a guy covering. We got a guy covering. We got a guy covering. Okay, quarterback, who are we throwing it to? Who's our guy we're isolating on this particular play in a zone coverage? We got nobody because everybody is running to different zones on the field and they're able to match it off and they're able to cover it with all of their guys. And now we're stuck trying to beat somebody with the throw and we mess it up, right? Amari's going over here and he's going to end up stopping. Dak thinks he's going to keep going. We screw it up because we're trying to beat this guy. And so it becomes vital that we get this on time and we get this ball out of our hands and we panic here instead of completing this. And it looks to me like Amari's doing it right because we always say, if you give your eyes to the quarterback, you're going to keep running. If you don't give him your eyes and your eyes are out here, that means I'm going to sit it down. Looks like to me Amari's eyes are out in front of him. And then he snaps them as he gets to that backside hash. Dak should know that he's going to sit this down. Maybe he thought he was going to sit it down a little bit wider. But either way, we screw it up because it's not a good play because we're covered everywhere and we're just trying to throw it to beat a guy instead of having a good concept that beats zone coverage. All right, here's another one. Okay, so we're lining up here. And I'm not really sure the full protection, but let's just go, in this case, 1, 2, okay, 3, 4. Then we got linebackers walked up. So back's going to go get one guy. Offensive line's going to get the other guy. So here is our hot guy once again. There's our hot guy. We got to know if he comes, I've got to have a plan on what I'm going to do on this particular play. There he is. Here he comes. Okay, Dak, you got to see it. You got to know he's coming. You got to anticipate this and get it out. Now, if we see that, he's got quick throws backside. Oftentimes we like to say throw into pressure, so I have no problem with him going to this side right here. But I got to know what my hot is. I got to understand how quick this has to happen, and you're going to watch Dak come back. Watch him hitch. Don't have time to hitch. Don't have time to hitch. We've got to beat this popper with the throw. I got to get it on top of him, and I got to beat this pass rusher. Dak, see it? Put your foot in the ground, throw it. Let it go. Let it go. Right there. Let it go. Right here. Here's your throw right there. Ball should be out of his hands. He should know what he's got. Even if he's throwing this hitch out here, fine. Throw the hitch. Back foot in the ground. Let the hitch go. You're waiting too long to recognize it, to know where your hot is, and now you're throwing it with the guy in your face getting hit. We're able to complete this thing. Thank goodness, but he's got to come back to complete this thing. Everything is late and off schedule because we're not recognizing it, we're not having a pressure plan, and we're not getting it out on time. All right, now in the red zone. Again, you've heard me talk a million times. I expect them to play zone down here. I want to have man beaters built in, but I expect them to play zone. So I need to high-low somebody on this particular play. All right, what are we going to run here? We're going to run this, and this, and this, and this, and then the back's going to come through here. So what do you notice? Oh, sorry, we're going here, and then we're going up over the top. So what do you notice here? Different zone, different zone, different zone, different zone. Now maybe this is your high-low right there if you can get there, but you see it. San Francisco just plays good zone. Fred Warner passes this off. He goes and takes his zone. He goes and takes his zone. This safety sitting right here. These guys are playing their zone. We've got no advantage here from a quarterback standpoint, who am I reading? What am I doing right here? So what am I doing right here? So I'll just give you an example. If we want to run this hook and this in to isolate that, and then I'm going to run the back here on a sneak. Okay, what do I want to do? I want to high-low a zone. So I'm going to put Cedric Wilson right down the middle of the field. Okay, I'm going to force Fred Warner to have to cover the high or the low right there. With everything else staying the same, we're in great shape. Okay, on the backside, we're doing this. Okay, fine. If we want to do that, then let's send the back over into this zone. So if this guy wants to come off, then I've got a high-low on this guy throwing the corner to the flat. If this guy wants to play deep and I send this guy to the flat, now this guy has to cover the flat. Now I beat Fred Warner right here across, and now I've got everybody moving that way, and here's my throw off of my outside linebacker to this side. But when you're crossing over these concepts, you're playing right into their hands. Play into their hands, play into their hands, play into their hands, and here we're going to go 3-on-2 right into their hands as well. No place for Dak Prescott to throw the football. Now he's got to buy time, dance around, and try to make a play late. Doesn't happen. All right, let's do this again. Okay, so here we go. We've got the 72 concept down here against zone. Okay, dead in the water, dead in the water. Now here we're going to run corner, hitch, and a flat. Okay, I get it. Okay, so you're hoping that you get some kind of overload to this front side. Okay, but again, details to me are so important here. So we get a look like this, and I understand what we're trying to do here is we're going to try to seam this guy inside, and a lot of times we seam that guy inside to hold this guy off from getting too wide so we get a high-low on the outside. I'm more of a fan of understanding responsibilities here. And so we say to ourselves, what throw are we trying to make? What I'm trying to make is I'm trying to throw hook flat down here in the red zone. I want to have to throw it up over the top. So if I'm doing that, this is the guy I have to beat with that throw, okay? Because there's another guy out there, but that's fine. He's either got to take the flat or the hook. He can't take both of them. But I've got to make sure that I beat this guy with my route. So a couple things that I'm doing here. If we're going to seam this guy inside to try to hold off this guy before we run our corner, no problem with that. I'm going to widen this guy. I'm going to push him at the inside number of that corner, and then I'm going to get the flat out here. Why? Because it creates separation from this guy right here. It puts all the pressure on this guy when I attack him to have to make a quick decision, and he's either got to come off now or he's going to engage me and he's going to give me my flat right there. Instead, you're going to see, and again, we get a little bit of width here with Dalton Schultz, okay? And as we come in here, but it's not enough, okay? It's not enough, and first of all, because this guy needs to come in here farther, and he's got to hold off this guy. They end up stacking on top of each other. So when you stack on top of each other, right, this guy's going to go right to where you guys are. If CD Lamb or whoever this is right here comes in further and attacks this guy like he's going to jump over the top of him, it puts pressure on him. Then he can push up and he can run this corner. So if this safety jumps and this corner jumps, now I'm one-on-one on a linebacker and I can throw it up over the top. But it's about what are we trying to get on this play? Attack him. Attack his inside number to the goal line, and let's do this. Attack him. Get in here to hold off this linebacker. He's worried about you coming in there. That's his responsibility. Then get vertical, and we've done enough to get this ball out of our hands. Here, all munched up. Right there, you see it, right? He just pushes right through it. Nothing there. Safety's outside. Flat guy, maybe we could have taken it, but he's holding leverage out here. We got nothing right here as a quarterback. Backside is our man beater, so we have nothing here against zone either. They're falling off because they've seen it a million times. On top of that, now Dak does a great job of buying time and getting into the end zone. But another one of those concepts that you got to understand the details of the concept, especially down in the red zone with what you're doing to have success, okay? That's how the game finished, okay? So here we are with the same thing. Once again, boom, boom, back, Going to step up into this A gap. Offensive line, offensive line, offensive line. There's my hot guy. There's my hot guy. Okay? It's a long yardage situation. I got to know my plan. We're going to run this, vertical, and then we've got an in coming right here. Okay? So I got to know what my hot plan is. What is my hot plan? Okay? Hot plan, as I told you before, always like to have my verticals as a hot. Okay? So I'd love for him to peak right off the bat. I hit him quick, and now he's going up on a safety. Maybe my hot plan is the backside shallow route. Okay? When they go blitz zero, which is what they're going to do here. They do a nice job disguising it, but they're going to go blitz zero, and he's going to drop down and cover here, 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 here. All right? And then one of the guys popping out will cover the back if he is able to get out. So if I see that as a quarterback and I see and recognize blitz zero, okay, so you'll see. Here comes the pressure. Here comes the pressure. Boom. Right there. Peak. Right there. I got it. Okay? Peak. Right here. I possibly have it. Otherwise, you know it's blitz zero. This guy's the free guy coming off the edge. If you're Dak Prescott, we always like to attack down the field when they've got blitz zero. They've got no safety help back here, so we like to attack down the field. So goal when you see blitz zero as a quarterback is buy time, buy time, buy time, and don't put your foot in the ground until you're ready to make a throw. You know a guy is coming free. So if you set too quickly, that pressure is going to get on top of you. So you see Dak, he sets too quickly. Nobody's ready to catch a ball quite yet. So now he's setting, and he allows less distance between him and the guys in front of him. We need to buy a little bit more time, then put your foot in the ground, throw it to CD Lamb. Put your foot in the ground and lay the ball up in the air to one of these guys at that point. Instead, we're in panic mode, and now we're moving sideways, and we got no opportunity, right? Here's a throw. There's a possible throw. There's a possible throw, and there's a possible throw. If he has bought time and tied his feet to the route, he's not. So he's not set and ready to throw here. Buy time. Buy time. Keep buying time. Keep buying time. Keep buying time. Then set. Then throw so the ball's out of your hands. Now he's trying on the move to make that throw and get it to one of those guys, but he's late, and he's got to just throw it up, and we just miss when you got opportunities all over. Now, it might have to be a catch and run. Sometimes that happens in blitz zero. We got to throw it short, and we got to expect these guys to win for us, but we got to have a plan. I got to have a plan. That guy's hot for me. Peak right there. Catch the football, get vertical, and go get us the first down. We got to have a hot plan. They didn't in this case. Blitz zero, great call by the 49ers. Now they're trying to just salvage it and make a play. Doesn't happen. San Francisco moves on. I told you guys it would be a long tape, and this isn't even all the plays, but you see all the little details that the Cowboys didn't dot their I's and cross their T's, and it cost them a football game. It cost them a playoff game. 49ers tried to give them an opportunity to win this game. Plenty of chances, but between all of this, between penalties, between mistakes that they made, there was just no chance. There was no chance for them to overcome all of these little details. I told you it was going to be long. It was 40 minutes, and it wasn't even, it was only a part of the plays that I could have pulled out talking about the lack of details for the Dallas Cowboys, lack of understanding of what we're trying to do, and how those details help us and help our quarterback to be in a position to succeed. You see it all over the league. I'm not just pointing out the Dallas Cowboys are not the only team, but it's really making sure that you understand how every detail of every play helps you against every coverage. You got to make sure that you've got an answer for your quarterback in different situations. As a quarterback, you've got to know where your advantages are and how to get the ball out of your hands quickly when you're playing against a team that can rush you. That, to me, was just kind of a microcosm of what cost the Cowboys down the stretch. Lack of details, lack of details, lack of details cost them an opportunity to move on in the playoffs and reach their goals, something that they've got to clean up across the board next year.